The weather was fine, it was a lovely summer's day, and I was headed into the hills with my tent again. And this was my first camp high in the mountain for quite some time, probably about 4 months, and to say I was looking forward to it would be an understatement. Whew. Oh man, have a wee break here, I think. Oh, forgot how heavy this wild camping or a camping sack backpack can be. This is my first trip wild camping since March, and after now that lockdown's eased, I've managed to get back out in the hills. I tell you, it's my hips that feel it, to be honest with you. Really sore. I need to get back into the swing of carrying these big backpacks, should I say. God, I can't speak. Anyway, what a lovely afternoon it is. It is midsummer. Well, it's after midsummer, but it's a beautiful, bit breezy, beautiful afternoon, and I'm going for a wild camp, and I'm surrounded by familiar Munros, but I'm going up somewhere I've never ever been before, and I scoped out a small loching, or I'm hoping there's still a loching there. It depends if the water's dried up. I'm going to pack up there, so I'm going to have a break here, and then I'll report back a bit further on. Ooh, right, let's get going. Oh, time to put the weight back on my back and my legs. Oh, right, up we go. I soon made it up to the loching, and my initial plan had been to camp somewhere close to the wee body of water, but as I went round it, there really wasn't any suitable pitches. It was a bit wet and damp and marshy, so I headed round the loching and further up the hill to see if I could find some shelter from that brisk wind. Well, that's me here at the top of the wee hill, and as forecast it's quite breezy, so I don't know if you can make out in the camera here, there's this wee sort of escarpment just running up here, and it's giving a wee bit of shelter, and it's relatively flat here, so I'm going to get the tent pitched here. There's some good viewpoints. There's a loching just down behind me for a water source, so yeah, without further ado, let's get the tent up and get it nicely pitched with nice tight guy lines, just in case the weather turns. It looks glorious at the moment. Wait till I show you the views over here in a wee while, but I'll do that later on once I've got the tent up. So yeah, enough talking, let's get the tent going. Woo. So with a suitable pitch found, it was back to that familiar routine of getting the tent up and ready, but before doing that I put my jacket on because that wind was blowing, and now that I'd stopped moving it was getting cold quickly. Some care was required when I was putting the tent up because it was, you can probably see from this footage, it was guy windy, and I didn't fancy the tent blowing out of my grasp because I don't think I would have been able to get it back. Anyway, the next wee while was spent getting my home set up for the night. After safely getting the tent connected to the ground and making sure it wouldn't blow away, it was time to get the sleeping gear out. My new ground mat and my sleeping bag were taken out, and yeah, got ready for the night ahead. Once I did this, I could relax a little bit. Well, I finally got the tent up. I tell you, I was getting a bit annoyed because I've hurt my knee. I don't know what I've done. Literally, I walked up and I was fine all the way up, and then when I must have overextended it or stretched it when I was getting the stuff out of the bag. I don't know. It's not sore at the moment, but it's sore when I bend it a wee bit. So I was going to go up to the summit later on, but we'll see how my knee. See if it's just a wee tweak, and it might get better. Might get better after some whiskey later on. Anyway, I did that. What else has annoyed me? Oh, I tell you what's annoyed me all the way up. My platypus. The bite valve's been leaking. Oh, and it's just been driving me nuts. So I'm gonna sit for a minute. There you go. Look, it's still leaking. Funnily enough, because I've not done anything about it. So I'm gonna have a wee play about with that and see if I can fix that. So then I'm gonna have something to eat, and maybe after I have something to eat, I'll be in a better mood. But I can't really complain. The views are just spectacular. At the moment, I'm looking north over Dalwhinnie, but the views over that way, which I'll show you later on, are some. I think are just fantastic. It's just a lovely part of the country. So yeah, I'm going to see if I can get myself in a better mood now, and I shall report back later. Starting with fixing this damn thing. So after fixing the bite valve on my platypus, it was time to get my gear ready for some food, and that started off with going down to that water source, the wee lock-in, to fill up with some water. So tonight's tea was pasta and some spicy sausage. I tell you what, it wasn't too bad. Why is it that every time you go on a camp, something which maybe wouldn't be so tasty back home tastes absolutely delicious? Anyway, I wolfed that down and made my mind up what I was going to do for the rest of the night. It's still quite breezy. Hopefully you can hear this okay. Well, this had my tea, which was spicy sausage and pasta. It was quite nice actually. And I was having a wee coffee. It is, what time is it? It's 7:36, and I think my knee's not too bad actually. It's fine when I'm moving, so I think I'm gonna try and get to the top of this Munro after I've had some coffee. It's not too far. It's probably about 1 kilometre away with an ascent of about 150 metres. So that's what I'm going to do next, and I'm going to come down and just wait for the sun to set and maybe take some pictures. I'll have to show you over here. I'm going to take pictures this way later on when I come back down, because it's just a fantastic landscape. I keep teasing you with it. You've probably seen it already in some of the footage, but that's the plan. Up here, down, take some photographs, and then just chill in the tent and see. I tell you, another thing that I've come out for today is there's an astro event, or something in the sky anyway. It's not the Northern Lights, and I'm not quite sure if I'll see it or if I'm too late or what have you, but I'm really hoping that the skies stay clear and we can maybe see it. I'm going to try and photograph that later on. But yeah, it's certainly windy. Lots of classic lenticular clouds over here. on the lee side of the mountain. So anyway, coffee, mountain top, stop yabbing, let's go. So after finishing my coffee, I set about getting my gear ready for heading up the Munro. Wasn't too far away, so I left my backpack down at the tent and just took my poles to head up the hill, and it was just bliss. After walking all the way up with that heavy backpack on, it was really nice just to be moving without that weight bearing down on my shoulders. After a short hike, I was soon approaching the summit, and the weather was still looking really nice. Those blue skies were just fantastic, and I sat for a while enjoying those views from the summit of this Munro. Some view from up here, I tell you, and this is a Munro that I've been up many times, but I've never actually come up it that way before. This is called Gil Carn. And it was actually one of my last trips, was out here, but way back before lockdown, and it was a slightly different scene now. Everything is so green up here. I always find that with these hills, it's so green. And the view is just lovely down here, but the last time I was here, there was no green at all. I'll cut to some footage. Anyway, it's a beautiful view. You get views over here and down Loch Erich. And yeah, I'm going to go back down to the viewpoint now, near the tent, and take some pictures there, but this is just fabulous. I'm going to sit up here for a bit more, let the wind blow the cobwebs away before descending back down. Yeah, what an evening. Absolutely fabulous. After sitting and enjoying that evening sunshine with a rather brisk wind, it was soon time to get back down to the tent and settle in for the night. What a lovely evening. Absolutely fantastic, and the sun is still shining. It's great. You see behind me, this is the Munro I went up, Gil Carn, and I've come back to the tent. I've had a few snacks, and yeah, just waiting now for the sun to go down. I don't think there's going to be much of a sunset. There's more cloud building out to the west now, so I don't think I'll get those pictures, unfortunately. But hey ho, such is life. And I was going to talk a wee bit about camping in the summer, camping up the hills in the summer. Anyway, I think it's my least favourite time to camp, although I'm enjoying it. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I think the fact that the nights are so long, you have to wait for sunset, the skies don't really get really dark for the stars, and then if you want to catch sunrise, you have to be up in the middle of the night, really. And yeah, that combined with all the beasties that aren't around today. Actually, it's far too windy for any midges, and any ticks won't come anywhere near that tent after I sprayed it with permethrin. yeah, that's nice. It's nice and green. It's windy. It's not too cold. I'm having a good time. But yeah, roll on the autumn and the winter. I do prefer camping in those conditions. But yeah, I'm going to hang about here and enjoy these last rays of sun. And if anything happens at sunset, I'm going to head over there and maybe take some pictures. I'll head over there anyway. That's probably where you'll see me next. But at the moment, I might have another wee sip of my whiskey, which is Glenlivet, and a few more snacks. But yeah, lovely. Right, I'll report back to you in a wee while. So I had a few more whiskies, and sunset's quite late at this time of year. And by the time that hour came, the light just wasn't there. The cloud was rolling in from the west over the mountains, and yeah, I didn't bother taking any. Yeah, I didn't do any photography at all. I just went over and leant into, into that stiffening westerly breeze, watching the clouds rolling across Rannoch Moor and over Ben Alder and the hills round about there down Loch Ericht. It wasn't a bad sight though. It was nice to see the tops of the hills. And after a wee while I was resigned to the fact that not much was happening in the sky, and I headed back over to the tent to retire for the evening. Well, sunset's been and gone. It's now, what time are we at? It's 10:15, so yeah, there wasn't much of a sunset unfortunately. I did take a wander over to that wee viewpoint and hung around for a while, and still nice views, it's absolutely lovely. But yeah, there's a bit of cloud rolling in from the west and the northwest, and I'm still hoping that there might be some stars later on. But what I might do is I might set my alarm for about midnight and just have a wee peeky out of the tent to see if I can see if there's any stars, and if it's looking good I might get up and take some photographs. Well, actually what I might do is just have the camera here and do some lazy photography. I'll wait and see what it's looking at. Just and if I don't do any astrophotography, I'll set the alarm again, probably for about 3 o'clock, 3:30, because sunrise is it's round about 4 AM tomorrow morning. As I said, one of the disadvantages of camping in the summer is the early sunrises up here, but yeah, it's been pretty good. Got a new sleeping mat to try out today, so hopefully I'll get some shut-eye. But you know what, it's pretty windy. When I was up at the summit, I double checked the forecast and it was still saying 20 to 25 mile/an-hour winds and gusts up to 30, 35, so we shall see if I get any sleep or not. But for now I'm going to retire. In fact, I'm going to finish off my whiskey, my wee hip flask here, not much left. I'm going to finish that off and then hit the hay and maybe wake up in a few hours, we'll see. So yeah, good night. So after finishing my whiskey, it was eventually time to hit the hay and see if I could get any sleep with that wind whistling around the tent. I did wake up at midnight and there was no stars, it was cloudy, and then again at 2 AM I awoke to this.
Right, that's 2 o'clock. It's actually 2:30. I woke up a few times. And this is the lucky us the stars.
Right, so you can't really hear what I'm saying here because I was so lazy and tired I didn't even turn on my microphone, but basically what I'm saying is there are some stars in the sky, but I couldn't see that, well, it was a comet that I was looking for. I think I saw it briefly at one point, so I sort of mumbled away to the camera here, talking about how tired I was and that I'd be up in another few hours for sunrise. And then what I actually did is I set the camera up very quickly just outside the tent and set it up on a time lapse just to see if I could catch anything. And this is the time lapse, which takes us to the morning. Morning. What time are we at? Oh, that sunshine. That's the first sunshine I've seen since last night. I woke up to the sound of pouring rain in my tent at it's 6:46 now, so maybe about half an hour ago, 6:15. No, I did wake up before that. I set the alarm for I don't know, midnight, and I looked out and it was cloudy, so I went back to sleep. Set the alarm again for about 2:30. Now when I woke at 2:30, I think you might have seen that a bit if it's in the film, because I filmed a wee bit of it. Well, only a wee bit because I didn't really do much, but there was some stars, not very many, and I'm not sure if I caught the comet. I think it's called Neowise, but anyway, went back to sleep again, set the alarm for about, I don't know, 4 o'clock. The sunrise was actually at 4:50 this morning.
and I think I set the alarm for about 4:30. I looked out and it was cloudy again, and yeah, that's me woken up now. And behind the camera there's a bit of blue sky, there's a few showers kicking about. The winds have got up a wee bit, but I slept quite well with my new lighter weight summer sleeping mat. I don't know if it's as comfy as my other one, but it's certainly lighter for carrying up the hill. Anyway, enough waffling. Time to get the brew on, have a coffee. And for breakfast this morning I have a Scotch egg. Love that. Right, time to get up.
So after a king's breakfast of cheap instant coffee and a Scotch egg, I was revitalised and had woken up, and it was soon time to just strike camp, really get that tent down. It was still a bit blowy, and once again I had to take some care when I was taking the tent down, because had I released the wrong pegs and guy lines, that tent would have been off. But you can see from the landscape roundabout, it was a bit cloudier this morning than it had been the night before, but there was still some lovely crispicular rays coming down over the hills where my car was parked, away down yonder. It'd been another fantastic outing, and so good to get back into the hills with the tent. Really enjoyed it. Until the next time, stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next adventure.